This automation here takes a random category from your Google spreadsheet, combines it with a random writing style, a random type of post, and a random post length. Then it will create, upload, and schedule the post to your WordPress blog based on the interval you have set here in the user setting. The final post will look a little bit something like this, with a featured image, text, another image in the middle of the text, and finally a link to a different post on your WordPress blog. If you just want a quick solution, there is a link to the JSON files in the description. Then you can go into N8N and import the files. From here on, you'll just have to set up your Google spreadsheet, put in your credentials, and then edit the user settings. If you prefer to build this out yourself, I will do a deep dive of all the notes in this video. This automation needs to connect to your Google Drive, your WordPress installation, and you also need an OpenAI API key. For Google Drive, you need to set up Google authentication keys. This is the most complicated thing to connect to of the three, but I have another video showing you step by step how to do this in just a few simple steps, and it only takes a couple of minutes. So if you don't have this set up already, go ahead and watch that video. Now for WordPress, what you want to do is you want to log into your admin area, click users, then your username, scroll all the way down and find where it says application passwords. Put in a name, for example, N8N. I'm just going to put in 2, and then click add new application password. And this is what you're going to use. This is kind of like an API key. For OpenAI, you just want to log into platform.openai.com, click API keys, and create a new secret key. Once you have done this, you can go back into N8N, click credentials, and then click up here and click create credential. Then you can find the thing, for example, WordPress, and then fill in the details, and then you have the credential ready for when we're going to edit the automation. This automation uses a Google spreadsheet, both to decide what to write about based on these categories here, but also to keep track of everything and to decide or to pick at random a post to link to. So what you need to do is, there is a link in the description to this spreadsheet here. Go ahead, open that, and then go and make a copy for yourself. You can rename it if you want to. Then put in your own categories here. And next, in the created post tab, you want to put in a link to a post which the automation will use. The very first time you create a post, it will link to whatever you put in here. So if you already have some posts on your WordPress blog, you can put one or more of those in here. If you don't, you can just link to, a similar site or something like that. And then once you have created your first post with the automation, then you can delete this again. The only thing you really need to put in here is the date that will be used to determine when the first post should be scheduled, then a title, and finally the URL. Once you have done this, once you have set this sheet up, go ahead and grab the ID from the URL here and copy that. Next, open up the Make WP Categories automation here. Open up the settings, put in your sheet ID here, and then the URL to your domain without HTTPS here in the WP URL. For the Google Sheet notes, you want to put in the correct credentials, and you want to do the same for the HTTP request notes. Here you want to put in your WordPress credentials. Once you have done this, and once you have your categories here, you want to click Test Workflow. And what it will do is it will go in, first of all, it will attempt to fix the categories. So if there is an ampersand, for example, it will replace that with an and. Then it will go in and create the categories on WordPress. And then finally, it will grab those categories and put them into the sheet, which you should see here in a second. There we go. Now notice that this one here did not provide an ID. This is because it has these things in parentheses with commas and everything. If this happen, or if there is another weird thing that WordPress don't like, you can either go in and edit the category, by giving it another name, or we can simply delete it like so. So if you downloaded the JSON file, imported into N8N, and you just want to get up and running as fast as possible, I'm going to give you a very quick overview of what you have to change to make the automation work. And then after, I will do a deep dive where we will go over everything if you want to build this yourself, or if you just want a better understanding of how everything works. So the first thing you might want to change is the schedule trigger and the hours between posts. If you do not change these, the automation will run once a day, and it will schedule a post once a day. You can set this to whatever you want. You can set it to run every hour, then it will generate 24 posts over the course of a day, but it will still only publish a post every day. The rest will be scheduled in the future. Next, in these settings, you want to put in your main niche here. You want to put in your Google Sheet ID, and you want to put in your WordPress URL without the HTTPS. In the writing instructions here, you want to put in some example posts. I believe there are 3 now, but you can put in some other posts that you like. This will help the AI decide how it should write. There are 4 Google Sheet notes. For these, you want to put in your credentials. There are 3 AI notes, so this one here and these 2. You also want to update your credentials there. These are all OpenAI. And then all of these globes here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. And this WordPress one here, you want to update your credentials to your WordPress credentials. And that is all. Once you have done that, the automation is ready to go. Okay, so now that we have covered the quick overview, let's slow down and dive a little deeper. In the next part of the video here, I'll walk you through each step of setting up this N8N automation in detail, so you know exactly how everything fits together. Okay, so let's start with the schedule trigger and the relationship between that and the hours between posts. So the trigger here is how often the automation runs and how often it generates and uploads and schedules a post to your WordPress blog. The hours between posts is how long the delay should be between each post scheduled. Okay, so for example, if you ran this every hour but still had this set to 24 hours, and if you, let's say, let this run for 24 hours, what would happen is when you log into your WordPress blog, you would see 24 posts scheduled and ready to go. The first one being tomorrow, then the next one would be the day after tomorrow, and the third one would be 24 hours after that, and so on and so forth. So you would basically have posts scheduled and ready to go for the next 24 days. The reason I set it up like this is just to give you the option of bulk creating posts, or if for whatever reason you want to create more posts than you actually schedule, you have the option to do so. But in most cases, you want to keep the schedule trigger and the hours between posts at the same, for example, 24 hours. So let's take a look at the settings here. We already covered these just before, so just really quickly, you want to put in your main niche, you want to put in the Google Sheet ID, your domain, again without HTTPS, and of course hours between posts. Now for the writing styles, the way this works is that every time the automation runs, it will grab a random category, then a random writing style, type of post, and post length, and it will send these instructions to the article writing AI. So that would, for example, be write an inspirational article about feeding and nutrition. Write an inspirational listicle about feeding and nutrition that is 500 words long, right? And then the next time it would be something different. Write a respectful and insightful how-to about goat housing and shelter that is 300 words long. Okay, so this basically just helps the automation generate different styles and length of articles, so it doesn't just feel like the same article again and again and again. Now you can edit this, you can add in more stuff, and the way you do that is you simply put in quotes and then a comma, unless it's on the last line. On the last line you don't want a comma, but then you put in the writing style here. You can do the same in the type of post and the post length. Now, if you wanted something to be selected more often than the other ones, so let's say you want most of your articles to be 500 words, what you can do is you can copy and paste this in a couple of times, like so. And now, since we have the 500 words 4 times, this means that approximately half of the time this automation run, it would end up selecting 500 words. And the rest of the time it would select one of the other ones. So this is a little hack you can do if you want one of these things to appear more than the others. Next, for the writing instructions, in here you want to put in your example post. So go ahead, if you have something you've written yourself, put that in here, or go and find some posts from another blog or something like that, and then put that in here. You can separate them with something like this. I have 3 in here, but you can put in as many or as few as you like. Finally, the style format. The writing style here is attempting to dumb down a little the way ChatGPT write. It has this tendency to use these difficult words and write these very long sentences. This is attempting to fix that and write in a more human type of way. But of course you can change this. You can also change this stuff here in the avoid section. This is just trying to avoid some of these typical giveaways like the M dash. The format, I don't suggest you edit this unless you have a really good reason to. It might break the automation if you edit this. Next we have the random items. So this entire element here is about selecting these random things, a random category, a random writing styles, a random related article from this list right here. And what it does, it's very simple. It goes in, it grabs, first of all, it takes the related post, right? So it goes in, grab everything from the Google Sheet, put it into a single element, and then generate a random number. It does the same for the categories. Grab all the categories, put them into a single element, and generate a random number. And then down here, we set the other stuff, like the type of post, type of writing, post length. We also go in and set in the category and the related post, and there is a mistake here that I just gotta fix. But yeah, that's basically what is happening in this step. In the generate post JSON, what is happening here is we are basically creating a recipe for the AI, the next AI to use. So we give it the different random stuff we said before, and then we ask it to come up with a title, a slug, a very short description, the type of post. It will generate some tags, and it will also generate the prompts for the images that it's going to create. We have a structured output parser here, where we tell it how we want it. This is very important because this makes sure that we get it in the correct output format. And we also have, in this case, we're using OpenAI. I believe it's 4.0 mini here. And this is also connected to this one up here. In the number 4 here, what we're doing is we are creating the actual post. So the first thing we do is we generate a post image. We need to create this first and upload it to WordPress because we are going to reference it in here and telling, put it in the middle of the post, insert this image using HTML. So we need the URL first, right? So that's why we have to upload it first. But then we are generating the article, then we create the article on WordPress, and then we generate a header image, which we will then upload to the post. We have to do it this way, else it won't work. So we go in, we upload it to WordPress, and then we set the image to this post as a featured image. So that is what is happening here. Then we go into add tags, and this is a whole thing in itself, because it is actually a little bit complicated to do this with WordPress. So what we're doing is, first we go in here and we take the tags from over here, and then we split them out into different elements. Okay, so we're up with 5 items. This is so we can loop over them one by one, and this is what we're doing here. So here we are connecting to WordPress, and we create these tags one by one, and as you can see, we get a lot of these undefined, and this is because the tag already exists. So it's really important that in the settings here that you set this to continue on error, so it will not stop the entire automation just because the tag already exists. We just want to make sure that the tags exists on WordPress so we can find them in the next step here. So this is the next thing we do, is we go back into WordPress and we search for the tags one by one, and then we grab the ID, which we're doing here. We're taking all the IDs, putting them into a single element, which we do some formatting with now, so we can give it to WordPress in the format it requires. And then we merge these two paths together, so we can go into, from here we will go into Google Sheets. We will grab all of the posts we have, and then again put them into a single element. We just need the dates here, so we put all the dates into a single element. We do some code to grab the last item from that list, and then we add whatever we have here. So 24, we add 24 hours to that while we're here, and then we get a new publish date. This new publish date we will use when we go in and we schedule, and this is also where we add the tags, right? So we go in, we set a new date, and we add all the tags to it, and then finally the final step here is we go in and we add this new information to the spreadsheet we have here. So that's this one here. So there you have it, a fully automated WordPress blogging machine powered by N8N. But remember that this is just scratching the surface. You can take this so much further by automatically turning these posts into videos, for example, for TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. Or you can create audio from these posts with something like 11 Labs and put that on your blog. There are really a ton of possibilities with this, and I'd love to hear what you think and what your ideas are in the comments. Finally, remember to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe so you won't miss out on any future automation ideas. And with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.